What's going on, Purple People podcast fans? You are in for a treat today because we have a special guest with us. As always, I am Kyle Smith. I'm joined by Kyle West.
Hello, sir. How's it going?
Pretty good. It's nice and cool and windy down in El Paso. I don't know how it is in your neck of the woods.
It is snowing here in lovely Iowa.
No, thank you. Next, please. Adam Carlson, what's it like in Minnesota up there?
We're supposed to get about 7 inches of snow tonight.
Oof.
So, not too bad. And also my phone just made a noise and I looked at it and I was like, what the heck? And it's the notification that the Purple People podcast has gone live. Yes. As you know, you can get that by hitting the bell on YouTube.
You guys should definitely do that. But as I was saying when we started, we have a special guest with us today. He's a regular on the show. He's a good friend of all three of ours, Mr. Dorian Foley. What's up, man? Where are you coming from?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I am coming from Long Beach, California.
Oh, the LBC. Nice. One of my favorite bands is from there. It's nice, man. Well, glad to have you, man. Good to have you.
Thank you. It's an honor. It's an honor. Been a fan of the show for a long time. And
hell yeah, you have.
Man.
Yep, we wanted to bring Dorian in. It's off-season stuff. It's kind of slow, so we wanted to bring you in and say, what's up? Spice the show up a little bit and get your thoughts, man, because you're always commenting and giving us love. And you're usually there every week when the show goes on. So thanks for coming in, man. We really appreciate it.
Oh, man, it's an honor. It's a pleasure.
So we got the Four Horsemen today. This is episode number 290.
Woo!
Downing Pool, because we're going to talk about another hire that came along for the Vikings. So I guess we'll jump right in with these quick hits.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get this bad boy
Lots of
rolling.
stuff.
So the Vikings' new indoor facility, the TCO Performance Center, has been completed. If you guys go on Vikings.com, they interviewed John DeFilippo, and was talking about that was going to be the last interview, which was kind of cool because he just came in. And he is a very respectful guy, too. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. But they alluded to the new Performance Center that's been done. So it's up and running, and it'll be ready to go for this season.
I drive past that thing like 3 times a week.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
How is it?
I should stop and take a photo sometime.
Definitely should.
Yeah, because it looks really
as
cool
well.
from the photos.
Because, yeah, it's a real nice looking facility from the outside. You can get in. You can't get super close just yet. But, it's enough to where if you wanted to take a couple of pictures, share what it looks like. Because we've seen some photos of the training facilities, the training fields, all that kind of stuff. Not a ton of what it looks like from the outside yet. So maybe I'll have to snap a couple next time I drive by if the snow doesn't have it all covered up.
I went to Minnesota in early 2014 and the summer of 13, right before they tore down the Metrodome. And I never got to see a game in there, but I had to go up to it. I think I put it on social media a while back. It's like, it's my sanctuary. And
you never got to pee in the trough, man.
I'm very sad about that. Can we all agree? I would trade in the Wi-Fi at the games to pee in the trough one more time. Come on. Let's go back to the Stone Age. No, I'm the only one? All right.
Yeah, you're alone on that one.
I always want to know if they auctioned off those troughs.
They did. They were part of the auctioning, and they did sell.
That's disgusting.
Who bought those and
Probably
why?
And I wonder how much.
Yeah.
That I don't know, but I do know they were auctioned and sold.
Like, what was the price tag? I'll take home somebody's poop and pee,
Yeah, why not? We got a lot of quarterback chat going on in our live chat already. We got Paul Gruber, Eric Spencer, just talking about Case Keenum, even some Marcus Sherrill's talking there, but we'll talk about those guys in a little bit later, I think.
It's all about this Donovan McNabb jersey, guys. That's all it is. It's not a Donovan McNabb jersey. These a-holes in the chat. This is my Teddy Bridgewater jersey because I've been pounding the Kirk Cousins hammer jokingly the last couple of shows, and I wanted to show my love because I think he's going to be back. But
speaking of showing love, we have Arlene Adkins in the chat here saying, Skol, do me a favor and give my 7-year-old daughter Jubilee a shout out. That is an amazing name. I love the name Jubilee, and thank you for listening and tuning in. Hopefully we got a long-term fan here in Jubilee.
Hi, Jubilee. Purple People Podcast says what's up. We're glad you're a Vikings fan.
What's going on, Jubilee? X-Men. I remember her. Jubilee
it.
X-Men, yeah.
So getting
and
back
Fire Breather's here as well, too. I mean, the chat's just filling up. So if you're just getting here, we'll have plenty to chat about. Let's have some fun.
I want to open that up. I gotta get that going. I always forget when we get going because I'm staring at these notes. Sorry about that. I'll get in there again one of these days, guys. But this is episode 290. We called it Downing Pool because Todd Downing has been named a senior offensive assistant. Todd was previously the offensive coordinator for the Oakland Raiders and had a prior stint with the Vikings from 01 to 05, which he held a number of positions with the team, research and development intern, football systems analyst, and offensive quality control coach. So this was a hot topic between the three of us because some of us, like myself, are like, cool, we'll take as much help as we can get. Adam brought up a good point, saying that he's kind of worried because we just hired an offensive coordinator and Mr. Downing kind of bounced around, which shows you some inefficiency somewhat of his capabilities. Maybe not. We shall see. But
he doesn't have a definite specialty, and I am a firm believer that too many cooks can spoil the broth. And I understand wanting a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different experience, but there comes a point where we just hired this offensive mind to implement everything, and unless this guy is coming in to help install that vision onto the team in a short period of time, I don't get it.
Yeah,
we do have a question in the chat though. Eric Spencer wants to know, Dorian, what jersey are you rocking today?
Oh, I got a Thielen.
Ooh,
yeah.
There you go.
That's awesome, man. So moving right along, because we're going to talk a little bit more about this in the main topic at some point. Sam Bradford, quarterback for the Vikings, now a free agent, wants to play in 2018 per NFL Network.
That should be kind of a given.
Yeah, kind of a throw-in filler bullet, but we all kind of figured that. We just don't know the status of his health, but obviously hasn't played in a while, so he's probably going to be fully healthy and ready to go. I've been seeing a lot of weird stuff in these mock drafts from these guys off of Fansided. They have him maybe running down to the Arizona Cardinals, somewhere like that. Who knows if Denver would take a shot on him because they need a quarterback because their quarterbacks are awful. So it'd be kind of weird. You know, I recognize Sam now in a Vikings jersey. I guess I would recognize it in a Philly or a then St. Louis jersey, but I can't see him playing.
I think that wherever ends up picking up Sam Bradford's going to need to have a strong, quality backup quarterback. But I do think that he does have the accuracy, the football smarts to be a starting quarterback. My only question is if a team can really buy in to the fact that he can last a whole season.
It's so weird. We talked about it many times on the show. It's, the year we had a not so good offensive line 2 years ago, he played all 15 games that he was allowed to start in. And then this mysterious knee injury happens after 1 week of the game of his life. So that's going to be weird. I don't know. We've already said it many times. We won't speculate on it. I don't think he comes back to the Vikings, but we had a good run with him. I really enjoyed him while he was on the team. He's a really accurate passer, like Adam said.
Yes, indeed, he was.
Too bad he couldn't stay healthy, man. Always gets some of the good ones.
What could have been?
Yeah. What if he was on a better team that whole time? We could do a whole show talking about that. This was kind of cool though. Just a lot of good, feel-good information to spread around. Vikings Foundation sent Super Bowl 52 confetti to Eagles fans who made a donation after the NFC Championship game. Adam always signs the show out with "Keep It Classy, Minnesota," and there's the stamp right there. That's super cool and super awesome. Because I sure as hell would have been pissed off sending confetti that wasn't for the Vikings, even though you're in our stadium and just won the Super Bowl. But that's pretty sweet, man. That's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, considering how Vikings fans were treated when they went to Philadelphia for the NFC Championship game, you just kind of had to wonder if there was a lot of bad blood there. But the Eagles fans who sent apologies and made a donation, they weren't expecting to get anything in return, and the Vikings Foundation had this confetti left over and said, hey, you know what? We know who would love this, and sent it on out. I think that's amazing.
It's pretty awesome, too. I think I mentioned that before. I was on the treadmill or elliptical recently, and I watched the Tom versus Time sub about Tom Brady to pass time while I'm sweating it away. And his dad actually saves confetti from the Super Bowls where he was at. So, any little keepsake like that is pretty cool. So I'm sure they were really happy.
I'd have thrown all that shit in the garbage. That's my opinion.
Oh, Mr. West.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. That's why we keep him around.
I mean, after all, it's just confetti. I mean, what's the big hoopla over confetti?
I don't know. If I got confetti from when the Vikings win the Super Bowl, I'd probably hold on to that.
Okay, that's different because that's like sacred, purple and gold.
It's just ugly. It's just green and white. It's just ugly colors. Like, I get it. Just throw that in the trash. Oh, it's so funny. The Minnesota Vikings are going to follow the zero waste initiative executed at Super Bowl 52, and this is where 91% of waste is either compost, recycled, or reused. So the Vikings are putting their stamp down in their, what do they call it, the green footprint?
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
They didn't do this last season at US Bank Stadium, but they want to keep initiating as much as possible, making change for the environment. And since Super Bowl 52 was such a massive success in undergoing this system of dividing up trash and taking care of it, 91% is amazing, considering the amount of trash that had gone out at previous Super Bowls. So I expect this to be initiated at Super Bowls in the future. And the Vikings have already said that they want to take this idea and use it over the course of as many events at US Bank Stadium as possible, which I always give a big thumbs up to.
Yeah, I like it.
Awesome.
And they're staying up to date. This is always going to be a big deal. Remember when the stadium was getting built, we were talking about the glass being affected with the birds, and they tried to work their way around that. So they're trying to keep a positive image in the community. So kudos to them for doing that. And you're doing something good for the environment too. So it's good all around. Really enjoy that. The NFL.com gives the Vikings 2017 rookie class a B+ grade. It's pretty good, not going to lie. If you could name the three off the top of your head like I could from the first couple of rounds, we had a rookie linebacker who was plug and play whenever needed, did pretty well. Pat Elflein did outstanding, stayed upright for the whole season, and Dalvin Cook, arguably the best running back in football the month that he was around. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, when you can get 3 starters out of your rookie class, that's not too shabby. And heading into 2018 season, right now the only quarterback on the Vikings roster is a rookie quarterback, Kyle Sloter.
Mr. Sloter. The comeback kid. I mean, I don't know where he's come back from, but it just sounded good.
But there are also a lot of other players who contributed on special teams or spent some time on the practice squad that we could hope to see evolve. And there's no real idea as to whether or not Ben Gedeon's going to stay as a starter at linebacker, or they'll bring in competition for him, or what the situation is there. But just grading it on what they did during the 2017 season, B+ is pretty fair. I think a lot of people probably forgot about Gedeon getting the starting reps at linebacker because he didn't play a ton of reps in that position, even though he was getting the start. I do think that Elflein at center deserves just a ton of praise because he brought a lot of that hard-nosed football to the offensive line, which is fantastic. And Dalvin Cook was not supposed to win the starting job during the preseason, but it's hard to hold a guy down when he's just so athletic and is so dynamic. So the Vikings have a lot of potential that came out of this 2017 class. So let's hope they can get some kind of just amazing production out of 2018.
I feel like we get this way every year too. I hope we don't get slapped in the face like we have in the past, because we had such a good year. We have so many good going to be sophomore players now. It's going to be good. This one's going to be kind of hurtful though. The season ticket prices will increase between 4 and 16% depending on the location of the seating. Remember back like a couple years ago when they'd be like, I blame Obama. Damn it, Trump, this is your fault. I don't know why. Well, I guess after you go off at 3-13, if you have the second best season you've ever had, I guess prices would go up a little bit, but 16% in some places. That's not a small percentage. So
the thing is that the Vikings still only have the 18th cheapest ticket price in the NFL, I believe. It's near the median if it isn't 18. But yeah, the season ticket prices did take an increase of between 4 and 16%. I do think that it was probably a little necessary considering prices around the league, the entertainment value of what's considered. But I do think that these season ticket holders, when they have to have those PSLs, it just seems like a lot of money to put down to watch the Vikings. And I'm a hardcore fan, but I can't put down that money for a personal seat license. I can't do it. So I end up just buying individual tickets off, websites.
Yeah, I have a few friends on Facebook, Vikings fans. They are not happy at all. They weren't happy, just scrolling down and seeing some of the posts. I remember that a couple days ago when it came out.
Yeah, because there was really no warning. There was the price is going to increase. It was just, boom, here it is. And then, 2 weeks later, they were like, okay, pay up. It was just like a big surprise. And I know for a lot of people, 4% isn't a big difference, but there are people that are big Vikings fans that are season ticket holders that don't have as much disposable income as others. So 16% if you got one of those closed tickets, that could be a big chunk if you're a season ticket holder.
At least single game tickets, like you were talking about, Adam, you can still find them online for pretty cheap. Like it's not out of the realm for someone, like you and I to afford a ticket to be able to go see the Vikings. Like it's never going to be as cheap as what it was at the Metrodome at the tail end, where you could snag Metrodome tickets for $14.
Right.
I mean, the Vikings are going to have a string of pretty terrible seasons in a row for them to get that cheap at US Bank. But I mean, I know that this is difficult for season ticket holders, but you should kind of expect it with a new stadium, at least a little bit, and a winning record.
My thing with it is too, it's a major upgrade from what I was been told from the people that I know in Minnesota from what the Metrodome was. And I'm not knocking the Metrodome. The Metrodome was nice.
But you can knock it. It was not nice.
It was not a great facility, but it served its purpose.
Yeah, I mean, it did everything it was asked to do, but this is such a state-of-the-art facility. I mean, this rivals Jerry's World down in Dallas, and
yes, it does.
It rivals that, and the only thing that's going to beat us now is the one in Atlanta. I hear that's going to blow everything out of the water, but it's just like the quarterback situation and the salaries. Everybody's just going to keep outdoing each other every year, but we have top 2, top 3 at the worst in the stadiums in the whole league. So
football stadiums, I'll clarify that for football. Because for concerts, it's not great.
Ooh, have you been to a concert there?
I will go on record as saying the concerts are not great. I won't say who, but I'll say if you do attend a concert, don't expect the best sound quality.
Oh, okay. Well, that's that's good to know, especially if you're a music guy like all of us.
I remember that when Metallica played in US Bank Stadium, they had an issue with their sound in it, and they've got Target. The Target Field where the Twins play, like just a couple short ways away, which is a great venue for concerts and stuff as well.
Well, US Bank Stadium is built to retain sound because they want it to be loud for football games.
Yeah.
So when you get that sound bouncing off the walls rather than flowing through like you want for a concert, you're going to get a completely different kind of sound quality. And one's good for sports and the other's good for concerts, but it's not good for both.
Well, when they built the Metrodome, they tried to build a stadium that was good at everything, and it ended up not being able to excel at any of it.
It's true.
Remember when the Twins played baseball, they were having problems with balls getting stuck up in the air pockets.
It's true.
Yeah. So I mean, it was just not. Yeah, it was not a good stadium.
All right then. Well, I stand corrected. I thought it was at least manageable, but we got to remember the roof did freaking collapse, so that pretty much sealed the door on that one. Oh, that's the year I said God hates us. Brett Favre died on the field and the stadium collapsed. That was such a good year.
It was something.
For 6-10. Then Donovan McNabb came in. Hell yeah.
And he saved the day, didn't he? Yes, he did.
Wasn't his first pass an interception?
It was. And it was I believe it was like a 1-yard pass, if that.
Right next to the end zone. Oh.
That was terrible.
God, please help us with this new regime.
I was at the training camp where they lifted the NFL lockout, and everyone cheered. They cheered for Donovan so much when him and the rest of the veterans got to go out onto the field, and everyone was like, "Yeah, this is like Brett Favre round 2. We're all so excited for Donovan McNabb." Oh, no, it wasn't.
Oh. So this one's going to be an interesting quick hit. So this is definitely worth talking about. Sharif Floyd is fighting the Vikings over the 2017 salary. He was paid a $2 million base salary and $6,450 for a workout bonus. Now, teams can choose how much to pay players on the non-football injury list, which is where the Vikings placed Floyd last season. Floyd filed a grievance arguing that his knee issues stem from arthroscopic surgery that he had to repair his meniscus in 2016. Thus, he believes this should be classified as a football injury. Floyd would have to receive his entire $6.76 million salary if he had started on the physically unable to perform list and eventually gone to injured reserve.
Yeah, this is going to be fought for a while, and it could get ugly. In the meantime, the Vikings still have to prepare as if they're without a defensive tackle, and I don't know how Sharif Floyd's going to be looking in the future. This is going to be a lot of fighting, but I think most of it's going to be behind the scenes where we don't get to hear a lot of it.
It just makes me think about his future, not even with the Vikings. I think his future with the Vikings is done. I just don't know if he's even going to play football again. Because we were talking about nerve damage not too long ago, and we haven't heard anything about him, and this is the first thing we hear about. So it doesn't look good. I mean, more power to you for trying to get your money. You know, these guys have a short-lived career, and he's one of the prime examples. The average career in the NFL is like, what, 3 years? So,
yeah, something like that. I think it's like 3.
Yeah, try to get as much money as you can, but this doesn't look good for him. I'm sure the Vikings are probably just going to try to get it going and get it done. Because like Adam said, they're essentially kind of preparing going forward like they did last season. Like, well, we're not going to have him, so I don't see him being on the team much longer.
I mean, and we have progressed without him. I mean, obviously, we would be better off if he was on the field, but with him being injury prone, it's kind of like, well, you know what? Kind of like a wash at the end of it,
You're right. I mean, the Vikings drafted Jaleel Johnson in hopes that he could be the future there. Tom Johnson's played very well in that spot when given the opportunity. He's a free agent right now, but the Vikings are going to want to bring him back. They did put in some safeguards in place in case they had to go forward without Floyd, and I do believe that pretty much the rest of the way through is going to be without Floyd.
Floyd's a great player, but I really didn't feel like we missed a step last year without him. That's a testament to how well the Vikings and Mike Zimmer have this defense.
And how awesome Linval Joseph is.
Yeah, Linval Joseph is a monster.
He is a beast.
We don't even have to bring him up. Just to talk about Tom Johnson and how good he is. I mean, like Dorian said, we were fine without him. We didn't miss a beat. So
we always have said that Tom Johnson could be a starter on another team. Then he becomes a starter for Minnesota, and he shines when he gets the opportunity. And I hope that he doesn't get paid like a starting, defensive tackle somewhere else. But hopefully he's got some Minnesota loyalty and will end up coming back.
How old is Tom Johnson?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
I can find it. Give me a second.
I know he's been in the NFL for a couple seasons.
3 years old, August 30th, 19.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought he was older than that. Okay, well.
He's still got some good football left in him.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It felt like when we signed him that he had been a veteran that had bounced around forever around the league and he was ready to retire. But no, we got him at a fairly young age.
He had a long stint not playing in the NFL. Drafted by the Colts in 06-07. The Cologne Centurions, Grand Rapids Rampage, Philadelphia Soul, Calgary Stampeders, then to the Saints, and now with the Vikings since 14. So nice little story there.
Yeah, it's like when people talk about Adrian Peterson's age and they take 2 years off because of legal issues and rehab year. It's football years. He doesn't have a lot of football years on his body.
Not bad.
Plenty of tread on that tire.
I like
That's true. That's true.
Dorian, you sound like an agent, man. I think you missed your calling.
Oh, you.
Yeah, you could definitely be one of these players' agent. Like, you kidding me?
Like the black Drew Rosenhaus, right?
There you go.
So the main topic for the show is AJ McCarron, quarterback for the Bengals, set to be.
You're gonna love this, Adam. You're gonna love this topic.
I'm already just loving it over here.
Oh,
I can see the eye rolls going already.
So the Pioneer Press reported on Saturday if the Vikings are unable to sign Case Keenum, they spelled Kirk Cousins wrong again. I don't know what that's about. The Vikings will reportedly look towards AJ McCarron as a possible replacement. McCarron won his grievance against the Bengals after they incorrectly placed him on IR and is now an unrestricted free agent. First of all, it's not because they incorrectly placed him on IR. It's because they tried to ship his ass to the Browns, and the Browns screwed it up. So
that is true.
To the Browns, and then you mess up, and I'd just be like, "Oh, really? Okay. Well, now I'm going to file a grievance against you." So more power to AJ McCarron for not going to that hellhole of an organization. So
dodged a bullet on that one.
I don't want him. I'm just going to say it and keep it short. I don't want.
What was the situation? The Browns didn't fax over the paper in time.
They missed the deadline. They were all celebrating and they didn't turn it in by the 4 p.m. Eastern deadline.
Oh, that's hilarious.
The most Cleveland Browns thing ever to do when you got a starting caliber quarterback and you freaking I don't know. But yeah, that's my take. It's a hot take and it's super lengthy. I don't want AJ McCarron. Next.
Yep, I'm not interested in AJ McCarron. I'm not interested in so many of these quarterbacks that show a lot of potential. I think that if you're going to get a potential quarterback, you draft one and you bring in another stopgap for a year or two. And I hate saying that as a Vikings fan because we've seen so many stopgap quarterbacks over the years. But the Vikings need to find a long-term answer. And if it takes a couple years, that's okay. But you got to find something.
You guys know what the best part about AJ McCarron is?
What?
His wife, say it.
His hot wife, yep. I don't know where it was. I think it was when he was at Alabama or maybe his first year, but I know the announcer was just so creepily talking about it. He just kept
he was
there. I was like, hey, guy, you're on TV, by the way. I'm going to look up some stats, though, because we're going to fill this whole show with AJ McCarron.
Well, I'm going to – while you looking up stats, I'm going to look up his hot wife. I mean, I need to –
There you go.
There you are. AJ McCarron has always been interesting, yet not interesting enough. He's got that Andy Dalton syndrome where you like him, and you think, oh, Andy Dalton, he's all right. But you're never going to go like, oh, Andy Dalton, yeah, he can get it done.
So no game started in 2014. That's when he was drafted. 2015, played in 7 games, started 3 of them, went 2-1. 66.4% completion, 854 in yardage, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Longest of 66, rating of 97.1. Not bad, but Andy Dalton was injured that year. Played in 1 game in 2016. No stats. Played in 3 games this year. 7 completions, 14 attempts, 50%. No touchdowns, no picks. So there's not a lot of pro film on this guy. And
the problem is that you are going to get another bidding war because there's already that rumor out there that the Jets are going to throw the kitchen sink out there to get Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, if you guys haven't heard, it's going to be about $60 million guaranteed. Now, obviously, that won't be a base salary every year. That's going to be $33 million a year. It's going to make him the highest paid quarterback because the
Vikings will not match that.
No, they won't. They won't.
And as they shouldn't. I mean, that's too high. Too high.
I said
that makes McCarron probably the next most attractive free agent quarterback.
Probably. I think it's him or Case Keenum, and you got to wonder who's going to throw this money around. But speaking of Kirk and going to the Jets, man, you got to think this is Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady and Drew Brees money, and these guys are just stealing the hell out of it. Good for them. I mean,
it's above that kind of, dude. It's above that kind of money.
It really is.
What these guys are, what unproven quarterbacks are getting is insane right now. It's absolutely insane that you would pay Kirk Cousins that much money. And I know that the roster cap is going up, so like you can spend more, so that kind of evens out a little bit. But damn, that's a lot of money at one position.
Well, it's got to come close to matching what got thrown at Jimmy G.
Yeah, it has to, because that's going to happen because that's what it's going to be compared to. And you got to think about the Redskins royally screwed the entire league by franchising him 2 years in a row and not sticking to a long-term deal, because that, the price tag goes up every year when that happens. He's made about $48 million in 2 seasons.
Yes.
So that's almost a base salary of $24 a year. He's going to be looking at $30 to $34 a year, but this is going to come with all kinds of bonuses. Like Adam said, the Vikings aren't going to match that because we don't want the Baltimore Ravens. We don't want the Joe Flacco effect to happen to this team. They've pretty much been mediocre at best the last couple of years, because they threw $150 million at Joe Flacco, as he should have, very well deserved after that incredible Super Bowl run. But you can't build around the team. And this is the constant struggle, and this is that scale that I always look at. Do you go get an Aaron Rodgers type quarterback if it's out there, which we know Kirk Cousins is not, or do you do what the Vikings are doing and try to win with someone like a journeyman or a mid-tier quarterback, a second and third tier guy?
And you also got to think too, McCarron hasn't gotten that big money that Kirk Cousins has had under the, franchise tag. McCarron still at the tail end of his rookie deal, he's going to want to get as much security as possible in the future.
And that's my thing about this McCarron deal. He might be a great athlete. He may be a good, solid mid-level quarterback, maybe 17, 18, 19 out of everyone in the league, maybe. but he can't beat Andy freaking Dalton out for the starting job. Andy Dalton's not that good.
See, that's what I was saying. Andy Dalton is not going to lose his job. He's not.
Right, but that speaks volumes of how, if we're not going to be interested in Kirk Cousins, why go after basically an unproven, quarterback?
Mm-hmm. There's two numbers here. They're number 5 and number 7. If not one, both of them are going to come back to the Vikings. It's pretty simple.
Right. At this point, yes, it is. If we can't secure Kirk Cousins at a reasonable, price tag, then okay, it was cool. Let's see what number 5 and number 7 is all about.
Right.
And who was that gentleman that got Mike Glennon?
Dear God, he's
what, $14 million?
Hey, kudos to you guys, man.
Goodness.
For getting that money you did not deserve.
This is the kind of gambles that teams take, and you're left wondering, really?
And then the rookie ends, and then I cannot get his name right to save my life. Trubisky?
Yeah, Mitchell Trubisky.
Trubisky, yeah. And then you can't even beat out the rookie. I mean, he's the heir apparent, obviously, but, with the money that you're being paid, really?
It makes me laugh because I'm from North Carolina. We're not known for quarterbacks, and a number 2 overall North Carolina quarterback won that job. And Mike Glennon's just sitting there like Jay Cutler 2.0. Like
Mike Glennon's sitting there counting his 3-year, $45 million, just flipping.
Chicago. That was a great move.
Goodness.
I'm going to give my final take and thoughts on all this stuff, all right? I want the Vikings, yes. I will say it shamelessly going in. I want the Vikings to pursue Kirk Cousins, but with everybody else in this chat, I do not want to overspend for this guy. Make him a reasonable, fair deal. And if he's smart, he'll understand that no team out there that's on the market for a quarterback is better than ours. And, there have been rumors floating around, and these are just rumors, that, if the Vikings can match an offer, they're close, it's number 1 with a bullet. Cool. I'm not going to pay $35 million a year to do that. I'm sorry. I think 20 to 22 is very fair, maybe 25, but he's not going to go for that because Washington screwed that up for us. And that's why I'm going to stick with my guns here. Case Keenum's going to come back to the Vikings because I think DeFilippo could do a great job with him. I mean, look at what he did in Philadelphia.
Now, my question for you, Kyle, is we bring Cousins in, not Cousins, excuse me. Okay, we bring back Case Keenum. Is it long term or is it what we talked about before? You give him a show and prove deal.
You give him a nice 1-year deal, something solid, and let him see because he's going to have to change, and he's not going to want that.
Keenum ain't going to take no 1-year deal.
Nope. It's either that or Teddy Bridgewater because of the injury.
I think Teddy might take a 1-year deal.
Yeah, Teddy would take a 1-year prove it, but I don't think he'd beat Keenum out. That's just me personally. I don't think he would. I don't know that he can beat himself again, but that's unfair for me to say also because we haven't seen him now, and he'll have a whole 2 years of recovery time. So can Teddy beat Case Keenum out for it if he comes back? And Adam's totally right.
The better question is, will he need to?
That's a solid question too, man. Because after all Case has got to do is say, I just took a team to 13-3 the NFC Championship game. Yeah, he's got, a couple of years of whatever, but those were horrible teams. Those were Jeff Fisher teams.
If you don't think the Browns are willing to throw a 5-year deal at him with some guaranteed money that Minnesota just won't match, you're silly.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. I think they're going to draft the quarterback number 1 overall, but they got plenty of money.
I've thought that the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, they gave what's his name down in Houston, Denver, and wherever else he's been, Brock Trashcan Osweiler. They gave him they just bit his salary up just because they can. So.
And they passed on Deshaun Watson numerous times.
God, they're so stupid. Oh God. And then they whiffed on getting AJ McCarron because of I don't know who's worse, man. The Bears are getting Mike Glennon or just Cleveland every year for something.
It is weird how the quarterback situation can cause so much just drama, confusion, intrigue, speculation. There's so many other positions on a football team that just need so much attention. And I understand that quarterback is your premier position, and you got to have a good quarterback if you want to have any real kind of success in the NFL. But I wish that there would be a year coming up where the Vikings just don't have to participate in all this who's our quarterback, what's going on kind of drama.
Wasn't it nice the year after Castle filled in and Teddy came in because Castle's foot got hurt, and the next year going in, we went 11-5, and we're like, holy crap, guys, we got a quarterback.
Right.
Wasn't that a good feeling? And then I don't even want to recap the events because they just make me angry and sad. But I want to ask Kyle West because he's quiet, and I want to know, who do you want starting at quarterback going in the 2018 season?
Teddy Bridgewater. I think Teddy is our guy. I know Case had an outstanding year. I wouldn't be mad if they brought him back, but I think that Teddy is our quarterback. He's the one that we drafted. I want to stick with him. I want to see what he's got, because before he went down and got injured, he looked like he was taking that next step forward. He looked like he was in a really good position, and he's young enough. He's determined enough. I believe he can get back to that, and I think he can win a lot of football for us. And
I think you're right, and I think the entire team's behind Teddy.
I think they are too.
Nothing but good locker room presence about him. And you know what I love about Teddy? He's not a piece of shit human being. He's a great. That's like my favorite thing about him. I got him on Instagram. I follow all the guys on there because it's cool to like see in the window of a celebrity's life. And he's not doing anything stupid. He's going down to Florida and donating stuff to kids all the time. I think he was just in Walmart.
Did you see him work with the high school kids?
Oh yeah.
It's incredible.
Yep. Have you seen those videos of him on 96 Questions pretending to be all tough?
yeah. He's trying to be.
He was not selling that whatsoever.
I didn't believe that one. That's what I read about. And this is one thing I hate. I hate the off season because it's so slow. But I love mock draft mania just because everybody just can throw a crazy idea out there, and you're like, that's not out of the realm of possibility if somebody's desperate enough. But
if you can bring Teddy Bridgewater back on a 2-year deal where you can get an out after one, and you draft a quarterback second, third round, something like that, I think that's not a bad strategy.
Not at all.
I was reading a little bit online that said that the Vikings don't want to have a quarterback competition this season.
Right.
So they're going to be picking someone, I feel like, and they're going to know who the starter is, I think, pretty soon. So if it's Teddy, it's Teddy. If it's Case, it's Case.
They can't go in with Teddy and then Slaughter as the backup. I'm not ready for that. You can't do that to me.
Well, who is the?
Well, he's our only quarterback right now, so yeah.
So you got to get another body in there, whether it's a veteran or a rookie. You got to do something. I'm not ready.
Mike Kafka. You don't want to bring in Mike Kafka?
No, John David Booty.
John Skelton. I used to want John Skelton to succeed so much. Kid had such a cannon, but he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
Well, if we're going down the list of quarterbacks again, we just call Tavares Jackson and see if he's still around.
Super Bowl champion Tavares Jackson, thank you.
Right.
Is he still around? Is he in playing shape? Just to have somebody.
I want to say that I think he went to jail.
Is Gus Farad alive? Can we call him back? It's only been 10 years.
I
don't know. I'm just going down the list of names.
Here's a legitimate question. What happened to Colt McCoy?
He's the Redskins quarterback until Alex Smith.
He's backing up.
Yeah, he's still in the league.
You can make that good backup money.
Yeah, I remember liking Colt McCoy, and then it's like Cleveland just killed him like they kill everyone else, and then you just never hear from him again.
We're getting a lot of Slaughter love in the chat over here. Slaughter's the GOAT. Don't sleep on Kyle Slaughter. I guess I'm speaking out of turn here.
I'm sorry, guys. I haven't watched a single bit of footage on this kid, but I've heard nothing, just seeing the rumors floating around on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. People in Denver loved that kid.
He's raw, but he's got talent.
Yeah, but he got cut for Brock Osweiler. I mean...
And who are those other trash can quarterbacks? I mean, Trevor Simeon's available now if you want Trevor Simeon.
Simeon's not good either, so...
Oh, goodness.
No, I'm all right with that, thanks. It's Case Keenum.
Slaughter's going to be the next Tom Brady, damn it.
Yeah,
but...
you people on the chat.
Well, Adam, if Kyle Slaughter has so much talent, then why does it scare you, or the possibility of him being our backup?
He's just too raw. He needs that experience. He needs that mentor on the team. And as much as I love Teddy Bridgewater, as much as I love Case Keenum, I don't know if either one has that veteran mentor mentality. That's why I'd love to see the Vikings go out and get a really seasoned quarterback.
Josh McCown.
Like Josh McCown, Thunder Dan Orlovsky maybe. I don't know.
Dan Orlovsky. Jesus Christ. Is he still playing?
I think he may have retired this year. Dan Orlovsky.
I'm going about
We did get a question in the chat, and although it's not the perfect question, it's a good one. It was asking about if you could only keep one, would you rather keep Jerick McKinnon or would you rather keep Latavius Murray?
Oh, it's such a good question.
So that's difficult. That's tough.
That's a good one.
I'm going to go.
I'm going with Latavius Murray.
Yeah, I am too. I'm keeping Murray.
There were a lot of articles that came out talking about how Latavius Murray could be a cap casualty this year because cutting him, you could save about $5 million. And considering that Dalvin Cook's on his rookie deal, and the Vikings will probably be drafting a running back to be running back 3, I don't think that paying him $5 million in that stable of running backs along with CJ Ham, I don't think that's bad.
I don't either.
And I don't either.
The reason I pick Murray over McKinnon is just the style of running. I love Jerick McKinnon so much. He has progressed every year for us. He's done a lot of things he's been asked to do, but we're all in on Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback, right? Because we drafted him. Well, we're all in on Dalvin Cook because he was our number 1 essentially pick from last year because we didn't have a first rounder. So if you're gonna support Dalvin Cook and he won the starting job, he can do what Jerick McKinnon does. So
you got Cook, you got Latavius Murray as the secondary. Then you go out and you get that smaller receiving back that's got that shifty nature, and fill out your squad. You don't have to pay extra to bring back, a running back and pay him a lot of money. Or a lot of people are saying go into free agency and get LeGarrette Blount. LeGarrette Blount's going to get $4 million.
Probably get more than that.
No, he's going to get more than that.
Yeah, I was shooting a low estimate there. I mean, you're not going to save money dropping.
Wait, hold on. There's
Murray.
a guy. There's one guy out there. I can't remember his name. He's going to be unemployed. Adrian Peterson.
Oh, don't you go there. Don't you do that.
He's going to be looking for work.
Dude.
Could you imagine if Adrian Peterson came back and had to be running back 3?
He would never do that.
Kind of amazing.
Oh, I can't even imagine it. I can't do it.
I'm so mad because I've tried. Obviously, what happened, we all have opinions on. We can move that to the side. I don't say move past it. We can move it to the side. I looked at his stats. He's so close to breaking into the top 10, and if he doesn't find work, this is it for him. Nobody's going to take him. Let's say nobody signs him this season. You think somebody's going to sign him a year later when he's like 33 or 34?
Randy Moss did it, but that was Randy Moss.
Chris Johnson's probably still getting looks.
Oh,
really?
He got brought in last season for workouts, I believe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I can't believe D'Angelo Williams didn't get a job last year. There were some people out there that needed to run it back. But I digress. Yeah. I just wanted to tie Adrian Peterson there because I looked at the stats the other night. I was like, he had to be really close. Frank Gore is out there still. Frank Gore is still playing, for God's sake. Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, but bringing in any of those guys to replace Latavius Murray, I just don't get it.
Mm-mm. I mean, Latavius, he picked up when Dalvin went down, he handled his business quite well, very solid for us, So
yeah, Murray started slow, but he was still working on that foot injury, healing up, getting more confident. The season went on. Oh my God!
I talked about that on the show last week.
Adam.
Yes, I did. That's why I'm laughing. And I feel bad that I looked.
What happened?
Someone typed in Brock Asswheeler.
I felt bad for chuckling at it.
Why? It's funny.
It is funny. But I got to be professional here, dang it.
Oh, yeah, I don't have to.
We're going to laugh at all the Brock Assweiler jokes.
Wow.
Oh, man.
So what we're going to do, we kind of shift away since we're pretty much all sold that we don't want AJ McCarron.
No.
We're going to talk about what we're going to do to fill in some time. So if you guys are listening with us, during every regular and postseason game, even preseason games, we've done it before. We do a game ball and a donkey. Obviously, there's no football to do that with now. So the three of us are going to rank our top 10 greatest Vikings of all time. I got bored last night. I saw rankings on some websites. I didn't agree with some of them. And I thought, well, the Purple People podcast could rip that off and do it our own special way. So starting next week, going forward for the next 10 weeks to kind of fill the off-season time until after the draft, or at least up to the draft, we're going to talk top 10 greatest Minnesota Vikings of all time. So that's something to look forward to for you guys to tune in next week. Also, I forget who it was on the page that commented yesterday, but I'm going to start doing it a day before. I'm going to let you guys know on the Facebook page and maybe put it out on Twitter as well when we're going to go live, because I'm sorry the name escapes me right now. But they told me yesterday, like, thank you so much for giving us a heads up, because I usually miss the show because I don't know when it's going to come on. So I'm going to do my best. So Adam, always usually asks us, when do you want to record? And when we settle on a time, we're going to go ahead and put it out to you guys so we can get more people involved.
Awesome. And keep in mind that time is going to be kind of estimated. We're going to either, probably 10, 15 minutes after even. But as we've said before, hit that little bell on YouTube. You'll get your subscription. You can come and join us, hang out. It'll send a notification right to your phone. And there you go. Podcast right in your hand.
Got a question in the chat about Lamar Jackson. If he is there at our pick, would you guys take him?
If the quarterback conundrum is not fixed, I don't see why not. But if that's the same kind of Teddy situation, if you pick Lamar Jackson at 30 and you took Teddy at 32, he has to be your guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if his body's big enough. I know he's athletic as shit. He's just like Michael Vick as far as running around making plays with his feet. Notice how I didn't compare him to Johnny Manziel because he's not in the league anymore. Michael Vick-esque. He's got a great arm, but I don't see the Vikings taking him.
I think the only way the Vikings consider drafting him is if they have a year or two to work on him by bringing in a stopgap quarterback.
Right.
I think that's the only way you can see that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know his body frame. I'm worried as far as like his body frame of him taking a hit. Like welcome to the NFL, kid. Blow. Like okay.
Has he got skinny knees?
Does he wear 2 gloves? I've never seen that before.
Oh yeah.
Jesus, man.
I do want to take a moment to congratulate John Knobloch on winning this year's Survival League. He received his package. He got a jersey. He got some autographed photos. He got some towels, koozies. He got a lot of cool Viking stuff, and he was really overwhelmed. Sent us a message to thank us. So once again, I'll remind you guys that when we start up the regular season again, we're going to be doing the Survival League. Join in, have fun. I'll be there, so just try to beat me if you can. I don't know. Or try to do better than my friend that lasted 4 weeks. That's a small goal.
My friend Jeff wants to play. My friend Jeff wants to play next year, but he's a Seahawks fan. So he's like, if I win, do I get to pick Seahawks gear? I'm like, no. This is not how this...
Yeah, we'll give you Seahawks gear. We'll give you a Tavares Jackson jersey.
I'll send you a printed out photo of my middle finger.
We'll give you a Vikings Blair Walsh jersey. That's your prize if you win, Jeff.
Oh, my God, yes.
Yeah.
And I'll even throw in the Sidney Rice jersey on top of that.
Oh.
Wait, on top of that, Kyle, if we send him a Blair Walsh jersey, can we put the number 3 canted to the left just a little bit on the back?
Yes, we can.
All right, cool. I had to throw that jab in there.
We got a question here about how you can play the Survival League. We'll be posting it up on the Facebook page. We'll be mentioning it live on the podcast multiple times. You really can't miss it because we're going to be promoting it really hard again.
And I believe it's in Yahoo, right?
It is. It's a Yahoo Survival League. I'll be posting it up. It's just going to be renewing the franchise. So we're hoping to get as many people as possible in there to play because I always love it.
So, Adam, explain it to people like myself who are a little bit slower. So if you like fantasy football, it's like fantasy football but with a team. You're going to pick the head-to-head matchups for that week. Is that correct?
What you do is you're given the entire slate of games for week 1, right? You pick the team that you believe is going to win. Like you guarantee this team right here is a lock to win.
New England Patriots, week 1.
Okay, so you get that one right, you move on to week 2. You can't pick the Patriots again if you picked them in week 1. Mm-hmm. So as it goes on, it gets harder because you got to pick teams that may not be as dominant. And towards the end, week 13, 14, around there, you got to pick 2 teams that you think are going to win. And so far, we've had our games go all the way through to the playoffs, even the Super Bowl. So we've got some really good people playing. I'm really excited about all that. We do have people talking about being excited about the Combine coming up, and we're going to be talking about some draft prospects. I know that Mr. West is going to sit down and watch a ton of tape on all these guys, right?
I will watch the tape on the players that get drafted by the Vikings.
Yeah, after they're drafted, like, well, I bought this car. Let me see what kind of specs we got on it.
Yeah, that is what I will do.
I love it, man. Kyle,
the same way that Mr. West has already been flipping through every mock draft that's been released.
Oh, I hate mock drafts so much.
Hey, man, that you got to stay informed, all right? I got to see what these little beat writers are going to say the Vikings are going to do.
I don't care.
We're at the end of the first round, too. It's like, we're gonna pick a lineman. Shocker! Like,
wow. I absolutely love when they do like, okay, here is our mock for like round 5. Like, how do you have any possible?
You don't want to click 30 times to see who they have the Vikings taking?
No, I really don't.
They give up after round 1. They're just like, we know you're not going to click through all these, so here's 2 second round, 1. And it's basically just like, hey, who's left? All right, cool. Pick him and put him at this spot. Like you could plug anybody there. It's so stupid. After round 2, there's no way.
The only one that I like is Mike Mayock because I think he does a really good job of evaluating talent. And so he might have the order wrong that players get drafted in because with trades and everything, but he usually does a really good job of nailing the top talent in the draft. I look forward to seeing what he comes up with.
I like him and Todd McShay. I like Todd McShay's work.
Yeah, I like Mel Kiper because his hair makes me feel awkward.
Him and his dungeon hair and face.
The Quentin Tarantino of ESPN.
He is.
Right.
Yeah.
That part. Like after, doing a mock draft, he's going to direct a movie, in Canada somewhere.
But yeah, the draft's going to be weird because it's going to be on Fox now in addition to NFL Network and ESPN. So lots of different options to watch it. Yeah, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are going to host it on Fox.
Christ.
Oh, no.
That is not true. That's not true.
I can't watch the draft now.
But
actually, I don't know if it's not true. I can't guarantee that it is true.
You can't rule that out as a possibility, Adam.
That is their A team.
Yeah.
And the draft is in Dallas, as Jay Hott reminded us in the chat. So, Aikman, do it.
Goodness.
I can't. I don't want it. Make it stop.
All right. That's all I have for this week. You guys got anything else you want to throw in?
I just want to give a shout out to the women's U.S. hockey team for winning gold last night.
There you go.
Hell yeah, USA. If you stayed up till 1:40 in the morning to watch a little bit of that like I did, you had a good time.
Good time.
There's nothing going on right now, guys. So we got to find something. And I know all you Minnesotans up there, all you Minnesotans love hockey. So
we do have the winner of the Elimination Chamber going on to face Brock Lesnar.
Ooh.
Hey, you messed that up, Adam. Former Minnesota Viking Brock Lesnar.
News.
Former Minnesota Viking Roman Reigns.
That's true.
That's who's supposed to win. So yeah.
Oh, a little bit of inside information here, I think.
Yeah. Oh God. Whatever. Don't get me started.
Shout out to Dorian for joining us for the show, man.
You got anything you want to plug, man?
Man, I want to plug this show. Like I said, I've been listening to this for years. I've been a fan of you guys, and I am fortunate to call all 3 of you guys my friends and my brothers in purple. And might sound corny, but I love each and every one of y'all right here from the heart.
Hey, it's an honor, man. We spent a lot of years together.
Yeah, man.
God willing, we're going to keep doing this till somebody bans us from the internet.
I've gotten banned. My channel's banned on YouTube before, so who knows?
Adam gets banned from writing the NFL letters, too. And,
Oh, God, I did, too.
Wait. You got banned for writing a letter? What did you say?
An email.
Yeah, the Vikings banned me from their social media accounts for a little while.
Wow.
Because I was posting the podcast on their page every week.
Unlike everything.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
They were like, no, we can't have this anymore. So I sent them a letter apologizing, and I'm allowed to do it now.
In the early days, we didn't really know how to market the podcast. So we're like,
guys.
How do we get Vikings fans? I don't know. Just post it on the Vikings status.
Apparently, they didn't like that very much.
Let's rewind.
It made sense.
let's rewind back 60, 70 years. Adam was walking up to the Viking headquarters every day and putting an ad for his show on the front door.
Just a sticker right across the window. See, that'd be awesome. I would love that. I know Mr. West has a lot of stuff to plug.
I had to tell a story really quick. I met a guy in training camp.
Congratulations.
Who told me that he legitimately calls the Vikings front office at least once a week to tell them what he thinks the team should do with like personnel moves or whatever.
Yeah.
And I did, like, after he left, we all laughed at him because we're like, dude, you're fucking talking to a secretary. Like, you're not talking to anyone who has any say in what's going on with the team. Like,
lady on the other end's probably doing like the imaginary pencil.
Yeah. That's. I'll pass that on to Mike Zimmer. Like, come on, dude. Like, don't bother the team with that stuff.
That's like Home Alone, where you just play sound clips of Rick Spielman going, "Yeah, I think we're going after this guy in the draft," and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, "Oh, my God, I talked to Rick Spielman, guys." Oh, man, that needs to be a thing.
Oh, that's great.
Tell us about your other podcast, man.
I don't even know what I do. I do too much stuff now.
You review movies that I've never watched.
Yeah, review movies that Adam has never watched over on attackoftheblog.net. That's my website where I do a lot of writing and a lot of other stuff on that. And then I am over on the Shut Up, I Like This Movie podcast. You can find us on Facebook. That's Jeff's brainchild. He's doing all kinds of cool stuff with that right now. He's got a website up. He's getting sponsorships with Loot Crate and all kinds of crazy things. And we're a video show with green screen, and I'm like, I'm too ugly for green screen. What's going on here? But yeah,
I'll take a Vikings flag over green screen any day, guys.
Yeah. So we talk about movies. We talk about movies that we like. Instead of being one of those shows on the internet where we're like, every movie's terrible. I don't get that. I don't get why people do that. So,
are you gonna do Barbed Wire next week?
We could. I haven't seen Barbed Wire, so I don't know.
Oh man. Oh wow. Pam Anderson back in the day.
That's right.
I love Pamela. Thank you.
Pamela.
Or maybe since you'd like superhero movies, maybe Blank Man. Have you checked out Blank Man?
I have seen Adam.
So
Adam,
good.
I am not kidding. I used to have a poster for Blank Man.
Sweet. I love it.
Oh my
good
God.
Stuff. It is good stuff.
A good stupid movie, I'll tell you what.
So much fun. I do want to take a moment to plug some of my other stuff. I got the Viking Age, where I do a lot of my writing. Adam Patrick over there also does some fantastic work. A lot of speculation and a lot of really good articles that maybe people will disagree with, but he's definitely got a very bold stance on a lot of topics, and I appreciate that because it really partners well with how I approach my news and, feel good stories. So it's a good pairing.
Adam
I like
Patrick, it. He does not like him some Andrew Sandejo.
I don't think that I don't think he's against Anderson Dejo. I just think that the way the article was presented made it sound like he was.
Yeah.
But hey, I am a Sandejo fan, and I hope that he's around for a while. Undead Walking, if you're a fan of The Walking Dead Season 8B mid-season premiere is on the 25th. It's Sunday. It's an 88-minute long episode. Check it out. There's going to be a lot of drama, a lot of tears, a lot of sadness on this one. We're going to be talking all about it on Undead Walking, so check that out. And we're hoping to get Undead Talking, which is the YouTube channel where I sometimes talk about The Walking Dead for some reason. It's unbanned, so I can start it back up again whenever I'm ready.
Adam's a bad man.
Yeah, I never realized I was such a bad dude. It's just locking me down constantly. But I have all that kind of stuff going on, and I appreciate it if you download the app, check it out on, their websites, wherever. I just like a lot of that stuff. And I do want to thank Dorian for coming. We really appreciate you hanging out with us. Hopefully we can do it again sometime this off season.
Oh yes, most definitely. This was fun.
And also, if you're interested in hopping on here and talking football with us, shoot us over a message. We are definitely open to having some guests during the off season when things are a little slower, and we can have a lot of fun just shooting the bull. That's what we'll say, shooting the bull.
Yes. We keep it PG until the end of the show, guys.
Exactly. On that note, I do want to thank everyone for joining us. Remember, you can check us out iTunes, Stitcher, PodOMatic, Google Podcasts, pretty much anywhere you find podcasts, you can find us. We even go up on the Viking Age, so if you have the Viking Age app downloaded, it'll come to you as soon as it's published, which is usually about 20 minutes after the show is done being live. Let's see, what else can you do?
If you would like a written transcript of the podcast, just learn to write really fast.
That's true. But I do actually have a request. If you're listening to this and you listen on iTunes, please head over to iTunes, go to the Purple People Podcast, and leave us a review. Those reviews can help us be searched better when people look for Minnesota Vikings podcasts, and can help expose us to other people who may want to check out the Purple People Podcast. So that'd be great.
I think I'm going to be doing more with our Twitter account. That's at Purple People Pod, because I really don't like Facebook. And I would just like to do more. Yeah, I'm just really not big into Facebook. So I would really like to do more with promoting and interacting with people on Twitter. Yeah,
there you go. You and Chris Thomason can have some discussions.
Oh, I'm out. That's it, guys. I'm out of here.
On that note, I think that it's time to sign off. Thanks again for everyone who joined us in the chat. It was so great to have so many of you here. I'm actually surprised so many of you stuck around till the end to put up with all that. I won't say fluff, but whatever that clothing stuff was. And please remember to stay classy, Minnesota.